All right, welcome back, BS with Brian Simpson. We're back. This episode will be, I don't know, a day behind. Technical difficulties. But we back. Before I read the emails, can I just say that normally I don't try to tell other people how to move for real. Because I ultimately don't give a fuck. But it's little annoyances, like little things that annoy me all the time, like repeatedly that I can't ignore. And one of the things that just happened today, and it happens every now and then, and it just irritates the fuck out of me every time. So now I got to speak on it. New artists, you got to put your fucking music out, okay? You're not Beyonce. You can't tease people when you don't have a fan base. You can't do teasers and rollouts. Stop doing an impression of bigger artists, okay? Because I've seen this happen so many times where you'll make there'll be a dope snippet of a song and all the comments are like, where is the song? And it's like, oh, it doesn't come out for 6 weeks. Well, now half of those people aren't coming back. If you are unknown and you put some dope shit out, you want to be able to say it's out now over there. That's just me. You like I said, you not Beyonce. You can't drop a snippet to the teaser I don't know, man. I remember when people used to drop singles to tease the album. Now people drop snippets to tease a single and then they never put an album out. You know what I mean? And again, like, I don't know shit about the inner workings of the music industry, but I don't understand that, like, if a song is done, why you can't put it out? Put out music. Like, you saw what happened. What was the boy named? La Russell. La Russell just was putting out music every day. Just put out music every day. None of this. I don't know what he does now, but I know how I heard of him. Because I went past his page, heard some dope shit, and that shit was out. So I got to go to the thing and add that shit to my playlist. Right? I'm not coming back in 6 months. If I even remember who you are, I'm not coming back in 6, because that's the things, like, we remember the music, we remember how it makes us feel. But it's like, I don't always remember the names of every artist, but I know that if it's in my playlist, it's going to pop up in my algorithm. And any new stuff they put out is going to pop up in my, your Spotify recommendations, or your, whatever you're listening to. It's going to pop up once you get them in the rotation. And a lot of them fuck themselves because I think what it is that musicians, not just musicians, comics are doing this too now. All artists are doing this, where they think that their job is being a content creator. They do their art like a content creator does content, and those are two separate things. And they complement each other, But at some point, you got to decide what you actually want to be. Artists drop music. You know what I mean? It's just that simple. And that's wild that I say that, because I also wish that comics would stop putting lame ass crowd work videos up. But whatever. I digress. Let's move on to these emails. I'm not sure if this email was read, because it's the same date as my last episode, but I'm pretty sure, I don't remember reading this. Hey, Brian, you mentioned your service in the Marines from time to time. Did you complete your enlistment and decided it's not for you? Yes. I too served, but in the Navy 14 years and deployed 3 times out to sea and 1 year in Afghan. I spent a short stint in the Marines before the Navy, but ended up getting separated during basic because I fractured my knee during training. I enjoyed my time in the service, and I think it's a great way to get started in life for young adults if school isn't something they are not into. Thanks. The special was fire, bro. Thanks for the laughs. I really enjoyed the pod too. Big ups, Beaver Puss. Yeah, I agree. I mean, listen, if you ain't got shit else going on, the military is it's not a bad choice. You know, it's a good place for you to get all your fucking up out the way. For you to get paid. It's your first little foray into life. You know what I mean? Some people do it for patriotic reasons and all that, but I just mean like as a last resort, like you said, school ain't for you. Well, the military is the way to go. It's not a bad decision to make as long as you're making it for the right reasons. If you're joining the military because you think that you're about to be a hero out here saving the world and doing the right thing, like, you're gonna be in for a rude awakening. But if you join because you ain't got shit else going on and you're trying to build something out of life and you're trying to get a foundation underneath you, that's not a bad choice. But just remember, like, the Marine Corps doesn't love you. So it's one of them things where like some people, I love this shit. They don't love you. So as long as you go in not expecting that, then you'll be fine. But yeah, I got out because it wasn't for me. I asked too many questions. I need things to make sense to me. And, I can't speak on the other branches of service, but Marines, senior Marines are not in the habit of explaining themselves very often, and so it was just a lot of my Marine Corps shit was a lot of silent resentment and vocal resentment, honestly. But I knew I wouldn't have lasted for 20 years. No way. So I didn't see the point. Now I would love to know how you cracked your knee and then did 14 years in the Navy. That's wild. But that's a story for another day. Hey, Brian, I'm 25. I'm a 25-year-old dude from Arizona. I've been out of the dating game for a few years now. My last ex had me in the friend zone for about half of my life. Goddamn, Wait a minute, did we read this already? This sounds so familiar to me, but maybe it's because I hear it. I hear this story so often that I'm like, this sound like I heard it before. Let me see here. This was on the 6th. Okay, so wait a minute. How did I not read that? Maybe it came in just as because that was okay. My last ex had me in the friend zone for about half my life before things got hot between us. We unofficially dated for a month. My dreams were short-lived, and when she said she just wasn't into me that way, I spent the last 3 years getting my revenge. I did read this. No? Any advice for a retired loser looking for love? I feel like I did read this. Yeah, man, it ain't out there. No, I don't know, man. I don't know if you. I mean, I don't know if any of this makes you a loser, but but also you got to remember, like, no woman owes you them, and and vice versa. A lot of young men and women need to be told this, but like, nothing you do for a motherfucker puts them in debt to you emotionally or physically. You know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta be vocal about what you want. Like when shit's unclear, because this friend zone shit that exists because you allow ambiguity to exist. And it's very tough because rejection's tough, and that's all good. But sometimes you gotta just state very plainly and clearly what your intentions are, and you can avoid this friend zone shit. Because if you start again doing things and silently feeling like that means you're owed some pussy, maybe morally you might be owed some pussy, but that's just not how the world works. You know what I'm saying? you know, in the friend zone for half your life, that seemed like that like you did that. You understand what I'm saying? Maybe I did read this, but whatever. The advice is still solid. You let yourself be in the friend zone. A friend zone is not something that happens to you. It's something that you allow. It's something that you manifest by not being clear and not having boundaries. Where it's like, yeah, I'm not trying to be your friend. Oh, if you could just learn to spit them words out, I'm not trying to be just your friend. So what's good? Oh, I really don't look at you like that. All right, well, look, I ain't mean to waste your time. Whoa. Don't, because if what you want is a relationship and you know that's not what you're gonna get, then stop dealing with that person. You know what I mean? Because if you don't, then you'll end up putting in I think I'm gonna be in a relationship effort and it's never gonna happen. And most people, I mean, women are not always direct, but if you can get out your own ego, you can tell when somebody into you for real, you can feel it. Like they make it clear when they really into you, and there's that little push pull flirt, but motherfucker, you shouldn't be having to convince motherfuckers to be into you. You'll figure it out. 25 is you got plenty of time. Okay, I do remember reading most of this. Okay, here we go. Hey B and crew, looking for advice. New to doing stand-up and was wondering if you have any advice finding your comedy voice and pushing through the grind. I love stand-up and only started a few months ago, and I'm 37 currently. Well, listen, I'll tell you this. The grind now is different than it was when I started. You know what I mean? Because when I started comedy, the only social media was Facebook, and it wasn't this. There were really no content creators. I mean, Vine was around, but that was seen as a separate thing than stand. Like a stand-up wasn't expected to be big on Vine. You understand what I'm saying? And so now the expectations on young comedians are even me now, people expect you to be on, big on TikTok and big on Instagram and big on, and they measure you by all those things, even though they know those things, don't necessarily translate to what they act like it does. But my point is, that open mic grind is real different now than it was for me, or at least, I don't know. I don't have any advice for you that will help you, because it's like that previous question. It's like somebody going, I'm joining the Marine Corps. Any advice? I'm like, I know, because that was 20 years ago I joined the Marine Corps. It's a whole different place now. I don't even know. I wouldn't even know what to begin to say to you, Actually, you know what? I do have advice. Well, you're 37, so you probably already know this, but like, stay out of the drama. In a lot of ways, a comedy scene can turn into, it's sort of like this bizarro high school. Like, because you have to understand, not every stand-up has a very low barrier to entry, right? And is even more saturated now because everyone not only has access to it, but everyone knows how to access it, right? I had to figure out how to start doing comedy. Like it wasn't like, you know what I mean? Like I had to ask, like go to comedian, like where are these? We didn't know that. I didn't, like, you don't realize you're surrounded by open mics. You know what I'm saying? It's people that have lived in cities their whole lives and don't know they do comedy in the basement of that pub right there. It's like this little secret society you had to, and now it ain't no secret. Now everyone's, everyone knows before you even begin comedy. You're an average comedy fan. You already know how the whole thing works and where to go and what to say and how to sound, and so my point is, because it's so accessible, there's a lot of people that don't there's a lot of people that aren't really comedians. They just surround. Like imagine if just anybody could hang out at an NFL practice. You know what I mean? Just anybody could just show up in pads and just kind of fuck around on the. It's like that. It's like everybody here ain't football players. You know what I mean? It's comedy's that. There's really no gate. People talk about gatekeepers. I mean, there's gates above the bottom, but I just mean there's nothing. You don't got to go join a club or get a certificate or nothing. You can just start showing up. And so my point is, it's a bunch of people that they ain't really that. They're big comedy fans, or they're just haters, or they feel like they want something out of it other than what they can contribute to it. They ain't comics like in their spirit. And so a lot of people see, and even in comics, a lot of people see the comedy as a chance to like get a redo of high school in terms of like who's popular and who are the cool kids, and they try to do that. It's all gossiping and rumors and weird power plays where it's like, it's like I ain't shit, but now I start a show over here and now I have some power. And some people don't handle that very well. And so my point is, stay out of all of that. Just focus on your jokes. Don't get me wrong, talking shit's fun, but like if your group of comic friends, that's the first thing. Find your people. You'll have your tribe in there, people that inspire you creatively. Find those people for yourself. And focus on your jokes. If you find yourself around people where the majority of their time they just talking shit about other people or constantly comparing themselves to other, like that's a waste of your fucking energy. Just focus on the jokes and getting your jokes better. And every time you go on stage, getting something out of it, being intentional about your comedy, not just doing it so you can say you did it a couple times. Like, I know so many people that they talk about how many times they go up, and I don't believe in that. I don't believe in like, oh, you just go up 25 times, like, or you can go up 10 times this week and efficiently and like actually get something out of it. You know what I mean? And every single time I go on stage, there's an intention. Before I go up, no matter what, I'm gonna work on this thing. No matter what, I'm gonna try this line. No matter what, I'm gonna switch this order. No matter what, I'm gonna try that tag. If I don't get nothing out of this set, I'm gonna get that one thing out, and sometimes you get a little more, sometimes you get a little less. But the point is, I'm locked in on the jokes. Go where you can go, where you going up. Don't try to be prestigious or get pictures of you on the stage at whatever the big club is. Like, go where they're gonna give you stage time. Don't be one of these people that just hanging out somewhere where they don't fuck with you in hopes that you'll be noticed or get some kind of skill through osmosis. The only thing that makes you better at comedy is doing it. Hopefully in front of real people, right? And so if you somewhere where you not doing it, it's not helping you. And that's hard to stress to so many people because they want the prestige and the accolades. Like they look at comedy like it's not like everything else. There's no, the accolades don't mean anything. Or I'll say they mean everything and nothing. You know what I mean? It's like you want to be at the store or the mothership or the cellar or these places that have a name and you're not even funny yet. Right? So it's like, I didn't even want none of them places to see me till I was funny. You want to take a picture so you can say, oh, look where I'm at, the world famous. And it's like, for what? What does that do for you? It doesn't do anything for you. You're in a rush to be seen or in a rush for the comic aesthetic, right? You want to seem like a comic. But it's like real comics write jokes. That's what this all is about. The people that write the most make the most. And it's not even close. The people that write the most stay around. If you focus on your joke and your joke writing ability and improving that thing, you will be around. And being around is like 90% of the battle. Just sticking in this industry where you got to move to an expensive city and be poor as a motherfucker and hoping for your big break. But in the meantime, because everyone has to get lucky, you know. But you got to be ready when your luck comes. That's all the work is so when your luck come, you ready. And everything else is a distraction. The hoes, the gossip, the drugs, all that shit is a distraction. And I'm not saying like, oh, maybe you'll partake in those things. I'm not judging you for that, but just see them for what they are. The goal is being a better comedian, right? And then, about 7 to 10 years in, you realize that being funny is like the 7th most important thing. But that's all show business stuff. That's all like, but right now in the beginning, when it's just art and there's no stakes, focus on your jokes. Focus on being fucking funny. I mean, 37's hella late. I started at 27. But again, you can still make it at 37. I'm sure you got a lot of life experience to draw off of and all this other stuff. And I think only women have a hard time making it past, close to 40. Like women that start, and I don't know why. I do know why. But that's neither here nor there. The point is, you can do it. Focus on your jokes. Stay out of the bullshit. And it's actually the key to every other thing. It's not just comedy. You know what I'm saying? If you if you have a plan and focus on your goals, it's like everything. 37, you've made it. I would love to know more. What are you leaving behind? Because you seem like one of the motherfuckers. Oh, I was an engineer and I gave up a career. I don't know if I would do that. Okay. Hey Brian, glad to hear you're coming back to Chicago and looking forward to seeing you at the Lincoln Lodge. Saw you on the Zanies last year, and I'm stoked to see you in town. I checked your website and the Lincoln Lodge website, but I didn't find dates, tickets for you on either site. Was wondering when you expected to be posted. Really? Let's take a look, see. Now, you sent me this email a week ago. So let's see when we go to the Webm site. Man, I fucking hate this. I keep going to BrianSimpsonComedy.com. Jesus Christ. I got a new phone. I got the Z Fold 6. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm gonna be honest with you. BrianSimpsonComedy.com. No, I guess you're right. Yeah, we gotta get on that. All right. Yeah, so that's I don't have control over that. They control their website. So as soon as we have a link, then we'll put it up. Okay. Also, you mentioned that Chicago can either be a great time or a shit show. Was wondering if you can share the stories you have about Chicago, maybe one high and one low. By the way, if you want some Chicago Rex for food, drink, let me know. Keep it up, Beaver Puss. Damn, I have no idea who the fuck you talking about. Okay, I do have Chicago stories, but there's actually a whole previous episode about my Chicago trip, and I'm not really in the mental space to rehash it, but I will. If I see you in person, I'll tell you my Chicago story. All right, next email. We got a lot of emails this week. Oh, last one. Okay. You said on the pod, just send interesting shit. I did say that. Rap comedy podcast by a bunch of rap nerds and artists from Anchorage, Alaska. We listen to rap albums, get overly stoned, and talk about random dumb shit like how Rakim masturbates. I don't want to talk about that. 10 times. Oh, and lost his wife because of his Pornhub addiction. What? Is that? Look into it. Okay. Huge fans from Alaska. Salute player, respect. The Scarface Tubby show. Let's see what they talking about. Okay, we'll check you out. I feel like he took a long time to get started. That was like 15 minutes in. Okay. But yeah, we'll definitely give it a listen. All right. And let's do a couple articles before we get the fuck out of here. Sometimes I feel like somebody watching me. I don't understand this. Burners eat huge losses in desperate race to sell unwanted Burning Man tickets. Huh? I don't understand why people selling Burning Man tickets. When Graham Chapman saw the bargain bin prices that Burning Man tickets were reselling for online, his stomach dropped. His partner could no longer make it, so Chapman needed to sell his extra pass. Typically, this would be a problem so close to the annual desert gathering. For years, demand for Burning Man tickets has outpaced supply. So Chapman, an experienced burner who lives in San Francisco, wasn't worried about selling one at face value. But this isn't a typical year. Burning Man still hasn't sold out online. The organization hawked tickets in person for the first time since 2011, and Facebook is flooded with people desperately trying to offload extra passes. Chapman quickly realized that he would almost certainly lose money. It sucks because I don't have that disposable income to spare. Really? But you had it to spare when your partner could go. That don't make sense. Okay. He said most years people are scorned for trying to sell their tickets for a profit, as it's seen as a betrayal of the event's principles, but that philosophy hasn't translated in reverse. Chapman felt insulted by someone describing themselves as a longtime burner offering to buy his tickets for $300. It's literally ticket gouging just from the buyer's end, he said. I just got the offer and I was like, ew, this is gross and skeezy and opportunistic. When another person proposed $200, Chapman seethed with anger, responding that co-modification goes both ways. I remember when I first heard about Burning Man, and this was when I was 20, and it sounded so reasonable, and it sounded so idealistic. But you know, we see what it is. Just like everything else, it's become a brand. It's a business. This is people aren't doing this out the kindness of their heart. This is not free. The tickets are they start at $670. This man bought a $670 ticket to Burning Man, and I don't know how much Burning Man. Like I don't know how much fun it is. Some people say it's fun. Some people don't. But listen, if you got $700 to spend on a ticket and then a couple grand to spend on all the equipment, and because you're paying to go, but you still got to bring your own shelter, your own food, your own everything, right? Because you're not allowed to buy stuff there. Right? I think the only thing that you can buy is ice, but I don't know. I've never been, but it's like these people are trying to create this utopia devoid of capitalistic ethic, we'll say, that's wholly dependent on capitalism. It's being fed from the house. You know what I mean? It's like what do you think is going to happen here, sir? That's what this is. Nobody's going to buy your $700 ticket because guess what? It's not worth $700. Nobody wants, I'm sorry, let's be exact. Nobody wants your $670 ticket. It's not worth that no more. You know? And you're not going to get, like the longer you wait, you scoffed at the $300, then your next offer was $200. The longer you wait, it's going to get less and less and less. And then it's going to be probably, you ain't going to be able to sell the motherfucker. You're just going to eat it. Because you think you're surrounded by people that just live by the Burning Man tenets to not ask for more than you need. That's all bullshit. Right? Burning Man is so people with money can go act like the rest of us. You know, that's what it's been the whole time I've known about it. It's all these, scientists and artists and freaks and can all it's so everybody can just go let their freak flag fly. Basically. But it's not worth $700 because you can do that in any other place. And I'm guessing everybody getting stuck the other year. I'm not sure. They haven't gotten to why people are selling them, but let's get to it. People being outraged that capitalism is real is actually hilarious. Oh yeah, man. Somebody spoke straight from my soul. Regardless, the reality for sellers right now seems to be losing hundreds of dollars or not finding a buyer at all. It's been a nightmare, said Tess C., a 6-year Bay Area burner tasked with helping her parents, themselves 20-year Burning Man veterans, offload their tickets. Her mom ultimately lost about $800 selling 2 tickets and a vehicle pass this week through a Facebook group that has been seeing dozens of new for sale posts daily. Burning Man tickets are always a shit show, said Tess, referring to the annual scramble to wrangle enough passes for her crew. Usually it's stressful to make sure we have tickets. This year, it was stressful to get rid of them. So why you ain't going? You went for 20 years, now you don't want to go. Right? And now, so don't nobody else want to go. Why, what is your reason all of a sudden for not, you ain't missed it in 2 decades. Now you don't want to go. So it ain't worth $800 to you either. What you expect? You expect other people to pay what you overpaid for something you don't want. That don't make no sense. I don't feel bad for you at all, bitch. I'm sorry. You lost me here. Theme camps, which can require lots of labor, often tend to overbuy so they won't be left desperate to find tickets for all the people required to build their experience. This year, those groups are getting screwed, said a woman whose burner nickname is Artemis and who usually attends with the post office camp that delivers messages around the playa. Okay. Artemis sold 2 tickets for $700, amounting to about a $700 loss. Holy shit. So 2 tickets is normally $1,400? Okay. And others in her camp were in the same boat. She said those losses will likely result in fewer camps returning next year. Several ticket sellers said they wished the Burning Man organization had a better way to handle the process and ticket supply so camps weren't resorting to a chaotic Facebook groups with bottom-of-the-barrel prices at the last minute. There hasn't been transparency from the org, and now these loyal camps are getting stuck with tickets. I'm sorry, man. I don't give a fuck about this. I understand the frustration of losing money. I'm not saying that don't matter, but I don't even understand how this is so convoluted. And who is the organization? Do they make a profit? Because why ain't nobody mad at them? That's what I'm trying to figure out. They selling you tickets for $700. They they were letting you see. This is what I don't get about these people. They were letting you buy up more tickets than you needed, which was keeping the prices inflated. Right? Because everybody I knew before now that really, really wanted to go at the last minute, they had to overpay for tickets. It's because you was buying too many tickets. And don't tell me you was selling them at the exact price you bought them for when you had enough people. Come on now. Yeah, capitalism works both ways. Like he said, you don't get to fuck people, and then when the market flip, now you mad. I don't feel bad for y'all. I'm sorry, man. And maybe I'm maybe I'm just being cold about it. But I don't get why. What do you want done? Angry passenger hurls computer monitor at staff in O'Hare. Let's see this. I love it when it spills over. A woman shocked onlookers as she leaped over a check-in counter and hurled a computer monitor. I knew this was an older middle-aged white woman. That's who I pictured when it said customer. We'll see. Footage of the incident was posted on July 30th by another traveler who told the woman had missed her flight and then lost it after staff didn't allow her to board. In the video, the woman climbs over a baggage conveyor belt and into the staff area and begins grabbing and yelling at Frontier employees. 31-year-old woman also threw a cell phone. Yeah. And I don't know why that middle-aged white lady listen, they're not the only people that lose their shit. Men, women, white, black, Asian, we all lose our shit. But there's something about that middle-aged white lady that there's something about being in that category that makes you more likely to flip your shit. I think, because I've said this before, I think where Karens come from is it's when you're used to receiving a certain type of treatment and then you not. Right? It's that's the basis of all the outrage. And if you was a young, hot white woman, so that's the most privileged people in the world. Young, hot white ladies, right? Especially if they got a little money, if they come from a little bread, right? And as soon as you hit that point where your hotness doesn't command special treatment because you don't see it as special. You understand what I'm saying? If you're a young, pretty white girl, you don't see the way you're treated as unusual because it's always that for you. And as soon as it starts to slow down, it feels unfair. You know? So and next thing you know, you're in a restaurant and 5 million times you've been like, oh my God, or you're in a bar, I don't have any money, and somebody buys you a drink. Right? Then one day you fucking 35 and you go, oh man, I don't have any money. And they go, I don't know what you're gonna do, bitch. And you're like, what? I'm gonna speak to the manager. You know what I mean? Because I guarantee you, listen, I'm gonna try to look at this video, but I guarantee this woman isn't pretty. That's what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean? Pretty bitches throw tantrums, but usually at the man they with. Not like I'm flipping the fuck out in public because I missed a flight and I'm gonna throw a monitor at somebody. I demand, like people don't, those are all women that used to be beautiful. Listen, the theory needs a little work. Maybe I need to think more about it, but I'm pretty sure we got some good foundations there. If you used to be a bad bitch and now you ain't no more and you the last one to know it, that's a recipe for a Karen. And maybe there's other ways to arrive at a Karen, but that's basically what it is. Like, used to be a bad bitch, used to getting treated special, now you're getting treated regular, and to you, it feels like you're being treated poorly. Right? It feels like injustice. How dare they not let me on the plane that I miss? You know, you start thinking shit like that. It does suck that this article she didn't get arrested. She hit a 40-year-old victim and a 24-year-old woman in the leg, and it says no one's in custody. She then fled the location. Damn it, how you flee the airport? But they don't have a video of it, so I can't verify. I can't verify whether she's ugly. I don't mean ugly. Oh, wait a minute. It seems to be some sort of. Yeah, she got her face is blurred, but you can just tell she got the motherfucking, she got the Patrick from SpongeBob body. You know what I mean? She got a Patrick from SpongeBob body, shiny hair. I don't give her to take it. Listen, if you got any questions, comments, concerns, you want advice from the advice champ, email me at BSwithBrianSimpson@gmail.com. BSwithBrianSimpson@gmail.com. If you want to support the podcast, like, share, subscribe. If you want to come see me on tour, go to BrianSimpsonComedy.com. I'm coming to all the places I said. We'll work on that Chicago link. I'll see y'all next time.